Hey everyone, welcome back to the lab. In this video, we're going to be talking about how I gather web analytics for my 8 side projects for $15 per month. So I like to build side projects, and over the years, I've accumulated quite a few of them, 46 at the time of writing. Most of them get turned off after a while when I lose interest, or they cost too much, or I just need to move on to something else. But I like to keep them online for as long as I reasonably can so that more people can see them. Currently, I have 12 online. And you can see a list of all my projects here on my website. Now, I use analytics to understand my web projects, who's using them, what are they doing, and where are they coming from. This helps me understand if people are finding them useful, if it's worth investing more into, and if so, what parts. In this post, I'm going to share how I run analytics for my portfolio of side projects. So first, I'm going to start off with what I'm looking for in an analytics service. So I run a lot of side projects, so I have a few values I look for in an analytics engine. The first is that it needs to be simple. I want to build stuff, I don't want to have to fuss with analytics, and so it should be simple to get the data I want with minimal upkeep. And I've been burned by this a few times. I used to use Google Analytics for all my things, and just a simple way to see where are these people coming from, and filtering by, let's see, where are the people from Reddit coming from, or who's coming to this page, required a lot of clicks and stuff to just get this very kind of core, simple information that I wanted. And so this is an example of something that I found to not be simple and something I wanted to avoid in the future, especially if I have to do that same thing across my, dozens of different properties. The next value is that it needs to be effective. So I want to understand my side projects, so the service needs to have a baseline set of capabilities for understanding who's coming to the site, what are they doing, and where are they coming from. And an example for me of not effective analytics is probably a lot of the analytics that come for free in your host of choice. This might be Google Cloud, this might be Railway, this might be Vercel, stuff like that. A lot of the analytics that come out of it are more like hit counters. I might even say Cloudflare kind of falls into this bucket as well. And, they do give you an idea of who is coming to your site in terms of where they're being referred from, but usually they don't have a great idea of where are they coming from? What post on Reddit are they coming from? What pages on my site are they, hitting? And are these real users, or are these just kind of bots that are getting hit? And so all of these are kind of what I would consider not up to par. You kind of need to have a little bit better than simple hit counters in order to really understand your analytics. And that's really necessary in order for the analytics to be useful for your side project. And the last value is that it needs to be cheap. So the service needs to be cheap in maintenance, so that I can focus more of my effort and time and headspace on projects that I actually want to build, but also in cost. Each of my projects incur costs for its own hosting and dependencies, so I want to make sure analytics costs don't get in the way of spinning up more projects. And I think this is something that, a lot of indie hackers and little side projects people kind of run into a lot is, I just want to build a stupid little website, and then you end up having to get a subscription for email, and a subscription for analytics, and a subscription for, the hosting itself, and all of a sudden your stupid little side project costs $100 a month, and it's well, that's not very scalable. And then if you don't find a way to amortize these costs across all your side projects, now you have $100 per month per side project, and it just doesn't really scale that well. So that's something you want to avoid, especially if you're someone like me who wants to have a whole portfolio of side projects, because, nobody's got time and money for that. All right, choosing an analytics provider. So last year I explored several analytics services, and I ended up choosing Fathom Analytics. Now, I've been using them for analytics on all my projects for the past 1.5 years, and I readily recommend them for those who have similar analytics values. For some, this will not make sense. Maybe you want way more detailed analytics. Maybe you want all sorts of reporting features. Maybe you don't care about the upkeep. Maybe your scale is in the trillions of data points a month. All of these reasons might be reasons you might not want to choose this. But if you have similar values to mine for side projects and stuff like that, then this might be a good choice as well. Now, if you want to get started with simple, cheap web analytics with Fathom, you can use my link here to get $10 off your first month and give it a whirl and see if you like it. All right, now let's dive into how Fathom Analytics stacks up against my values. And so here's a little screenshot of what the dashboard is, and we'll walk through this in a second, but it really relates to my first value of it being simple. And I think Fathom Analytics is very simple. It's mostly just a big dashboard with all the most important web metrics front and center, so you don't have to dig through various screens or customize certain reports just to get the basic information about who's hitting your site, where's this increase in traffic coming from, stuff like that, things that you're going to be checking regularly. They make that very simple. And so here's a screenshot of my dashboard, and I'll also go into a live kind of example of this. And so obviously you can change stuff by time, and then we just get our views to visitors up at the top, basic things like bounce rate, average time on site, and then all the stuff you'd usually be looking for useful breakouts, like who's referring this people, what pages are they looking at, what countries, browsers, and device types are they coming from, and then if you're doing more advanced analytics, like where are your UTMs, so specific campaigns and referrals that you're tracking here, and custom events and stuff. And so all of these are like the primary things you actually care about in web analytics, and it's all just very easy to see. Okay, now it needs to be effective. And so Fathom Analytics still provides the power to explore my data and add additional context. You can filter by any dimension in your data. You can add custom events. It'll track your UTMs for you automatically. And so all of these get piped back into that simple dashboard for their exploration. And so this gives me the power that I personally need. Like, okay, I'm saying I'm getting some traffic from Reddit. Like, where are those Reddit people going? I just click on it and I can see like, oh, here's all the pages that they like. And then if we have additional information for Reddit, we can see like, oh, this is the specific comment that has the link in this thing that's referring it. And so you can dive in further like that. And so on the surface, it's very simple, but I think it also provides, the power to actually be effective analytics, at least for my purposes, where it's mostly like web driven. And the final point is that it's pretty cheap. Now, I will admit that Fathom is not the cheapest option out there. There are many other options that are free, like Google Analytics, or will save you a few dollars on different plans. Like I think Simple Analytics is only $10 a month, for example. But I think the price is very fair for what I get out of it. I save time due to the simple interface, and the pricing is very competitive for many properties. And I think this is one of the biggest selling points for me personally. And so here's an example of like my all sites view. And again, I'll show you this in a second, but I really like that you can, have many properties and kind of just at a glance see kind of what they're doing. So if there was like a big spike recently, I might go investigate like, how are people getting to this? What are they interested in? Stuff like that. And so I currently run 8 sites on Fathom, and I pay about $15 a month for their base tier. And this allocates me up to 100,000 monthly page views across 50 sites. And this is pretty crucial for me, is the number of individual properties that you can have per account. Because usually it's only like, the cheaper ones will be like, you can get 1 million data points for $10 or something like that. But it's only for like 3 sites. And then you have to multiply that for every 3 sites you get, and so quickly we get to a higher price point because I have so many individual properties. And so the pricing points for Fathom, they do give small discounts as you increase, so it's not just 15 per 100K. As you get up to like 1 million, I think it's $60, so that's about $6 per 100K, so you get a little bit of a discount there. But what I really like, and I think this is one of the big things for me who has a portfolio side projects, is that if you go over the 50 sites, which itself is very generous, and individual properties, it only costs an extra $15 a month to add 50 more sites. And so for me, who's looking to add like way more sites as I kind of grow, this makes it look like something that I can grow into, and that has very transparent pricing. I'm not worried that like I'm gonna, multiply my pricing even though I have a bunch of like tiny sites that get no traffic. And so here's an example of that. So I can come here to change all my sites, but they also have a view all sites function, and we can see all the 8 ones that I'm tracking currently. It just gives you a little overview of all of them. You can see the little graphs, and some of the, most important metrics are pulled out again, just so it's very simple to look at. Also, I want to just give you some like examples of using Fathom Analytics, just to give you an idea of like what it actually looks like to use it and how you might actually do this on your own site. And so it's very easy. It's like most analytics trackers where it's just a script tag and then just like a little bit of extra data so that they can uniquely identify what are they tracking this for, like what site is this, should this data be attributed to. And so an example script tag is like this. You can see it's just a normal script tag. It pulls in whatever their little JS guy is. And then you just add your code that you get from Fathom here, and that's how they can know what this data is for. And now currently I like to build my front ends with F#, and I enjoy leveraging HTML DSLs like Draft.ViewEngine so that I can build these front ends with HTML in a type-safe manner using F#. This means that the way that I code a script tag looks a little bit different, but ultimately it does turn into the same HTML. And so here's an example of what that looks like with F# and Draft.ViewEngine. Same idea, it's just a script tag. It's got a source attribute here, and then we add a custom attribute data site here, and then we add the defer tag as well. And so this compiles down basically to the same thing, and this is like the exact thing that's actually running this website. Let's see if I can show you here. Open the head, and we can see here that here's my Fathom add tag, and that's written with code like this. If you're interested, you can learn more about how I built this site and build a simple markdown blog with F# and Draft next. So that's how I run analytics for my many side projects and how I'm planning on doing so for the foreseeable future. If you're interested in doing something similar, you can get $10 off your first month of Fathom Analytics here using my referral code. And I actually think you get the first month free, and then the $10 is credit that you can use towards your second month. But don't quote me on that. Check the link and see what it actually is. Question for you is, how are you running analytics simply and cheaply for your side projects? I'm always looking for like easier ways to do this, because at the end of the day, I want to build side projects. I don't want to fuss with analytics. If you like this post, you might also like Fathom Analytics Dashboard Walkthrough, where I kind of give a deep dive into each section and how to use them. You might also be interested in use Fathom Analytics with SvelteKit. I used to build all my websites with SvelteKit, so I did a lot of stuff around analytics and custom events and stuff like that. And so I have this walkthrough still, in case that's interesting. And then you might also be interested in Build a Simple Markdown Blog with F# Giraffe, which gives you the basics of how I built this website here using a server-side rendered HTML built with F#. And that is what is currently building and running this website right here. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.